Hey, it's Key Hill, your favorite local real estate agent with Coldwell Banker and the Newton Group, and welcome to Time to Talk Tuesdays. Today's topic of discussion is going to be debunking the myths. So stick around, you may have believed some of these things too. We're going to go ahead and cancel that out.
Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local real estate team, the Newton Group, discusses the Midlands area real estate market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
Now, there are a lot of common myths that go around from person to person who don't really know what they're talking about, but they heard something and passed it along to the next person. So then you hear it and you feel like this is the truth because it came from this person. I know them. They wouldn't lie to me. This is what they know, so this is what I believe. There are a lot of myths that are out there that prevent you from buying a home. Today, we're going to discuss the top 7 things that people have misunderstood and passed along and prevented others from thinking that they can purchase. The number 1 reason is you need 20% for a down payment. Now, historically, you did need that 20% down in order to purchase a home because that gives the lender less risk. They feel a little bit better loaning you money knowing that you've invested 20% in. For example, you had a $200,000 house that you wanted to purchase. In past history, you would need $40,000 as a down payment. Most of us don't have that lying around. And even if we didn't have it lying around, life prevents us from accumulating $40,000 in savings just with regular stuff, being the parents, working, living. So it may take some people a longer time to develop $40,000 in savings. In recent years, you can go as low as 3% down. Using that same example, that $200,000 house is $6,000 down payment at 3% versus $20,000 and bringing in $40,000. Which one would you rather have? $40,000 or $6,000? Most people don't know that you don't have to do that 20%. Talk to an agent, get you with the right lender. They'll be able to explain the process. Number 2, I have to be well established or 2 years on the same job in the same field. That is another myth. You do not have to have the same job. You do not have to wait until you've graduated college and started your job and say, hey, let me wait 2 years before I purchase my first home. You do not have to do that. As long as you have consistent income coming in, you could be working 15 years on one job and then decide, I don't want to do this anymore. Completely change fields. But as long as there are no gaps in your income, you may still be able to qualify. So you don't have to wait the 2 years, you don't have to stay in the same field, and you don't have to have a certain position in your job. As long as the income is there and is consistent, you can still qualify. Number 3, you have to be completely debt-free in order to purchase a home. That is so far from the truth. There are lots of homeowners that can tell you their stories and how a lender or an agent may have been able to help them come up with ways that they can be able to purchase their home even though they have debt. Now, we may have student loans, hospital bills, or just whatever debt that we acquired over time that we couldn't pay at that time. We had an agreement set up. I have to pay X amount of dollars every month. For student loans, we've had a little bit of grace because of COVID. They put a pause on it. But as many homeowners that purchased during COVID, they were able to get that letter that says, hey, I have a $0 payment right now. Whenever my student loan does begin again off of this pause, this is what it's going to be that I am paying every month. Your lender will be able to take that and add it into your DTI, which we know is debt to income ratio. If that fits your DTI and is lower than the requirements, which is usually like 43% or below, you can still qualify. If there is a debt on there that, there's a hospital bill or something that is more than $300 or $500, they may tell you, hey, you need to take care of this. Or we don't need to focus on this right now. This is what we need to take care of. But the only way you're going to know which debts that you have to take care of, pay down, or include in your debt to income is by talking with the lender. On the opposite end, a person who has zero debt, no credit at all, it may not even be in your best interest, because when they pull your credit, they want to see that you have responsible usage. They want to know that you pay back your debts. So a person who has nothing, never had a credit card bill, never had anything in their name, they can still look risky, because how do I know that you're going to be able to pay me back? You have no history in showing that you're responsible. A person who has one credit card and they're using it responsibly, they are paying off their balance before the due date or on its due date, they're using their credit cards 30% or less, that person, I may want to lend to them versus someone who has never had anything. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Number 4, you need to have a man or you need to have a family to purchase a home. We all know in recent years we have discovered we don't need a man for anything. We can do things on our own. Obviously, it's 2022. We have all, changed our mindsets. It is not necessary to have a family. It is not necessary to have a man in our life to purchase a home. We needed them a long time ago to vote, there was a lot of things that women couldn't do, but that has all changed. You don't actually have to have a family, have kids before you purchase a home. There are young people, the new generation that is out here are purchasing first-time homes at the age of 20, 25. They don't have children. It's just that it fits their situation and their circumstances. Maybe they have a plan. So it's not a traditional thing here. There's no one size fits all. I do know a gentleman who purchased a multifamily unit at the age of 27, was not married and did not have children. According to the National Association of Realtors, 35% of people who purchased in recent years were single. On top of them being single, women purchase more than men 2 to 1. So at the end of the day, that is something that is not even a factor. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you are married or single, you can purchase. Number 5, I'm not going to be able to purchase a home unless I have a conventional loan for 30 years. That is not true either. As a matter of fact, we know that typically a first-time home buyer may use an FHA loan. There are different terms, there are different options for you. Your circumstance is going to be different from someone else's circumstances. I may be able to afford to pay a little bit more, and I want to do 15 years versus 30. That may not be your situation, but it may be mine. We don't all have to choose the same thing. There are adjustable rate mortgages. There are so many different options that are out there. It depends on the loan type, the requirements, and the lender that you choose. There is always going to be more options. Again, you will not know what they are, and we won't be able to know which one applies to your situation best until you talk to a lender. This is a big one too. It should have been more on top of the list, but according to what you guys are searching for, it's made it at 5. You have to have the best credit. Now, obviously, that score model is going to change probably in the next few years. Over 800 credit score is what people are going to be aiming for. A few years back, I was aiming for a 700 credit score. You do not have to have amazing credit to purchase. We know that life happens and people end up in different situations. Different lenders and different loan types have different requirements. Of course, per loan type, you have a minimum requirement, as well as whichever lender you choose, they're going to have their minimum requirements. But it doesn't mean that you have to have an 800 or even a 700 score. There are some programs that you can do at a minimum of 640. And there are other programs that may even allow you to go as low as 580. Now, within that stipulation, a person with a more challenging score of like 580 or, somewhere in that range, their terms may be different from someone who has a 700 or over 700 credit score. But it is not absolutely a necessity to have 700 plus. You can still qualify. And this last thing is kind of, it is a myth. However, I feel like when it comes to this particular topic, it's so many different avenues, and that is purchasing a home and using it as your primary residence. It is not an absolute must that this home be your primary residence. The gentleman that I spoke about earlier was not wanting to use or wanting to purchase for his primary residence. However, the situation that he was in, he decided to purchase that multifamily unit, and according to his loan type and terms, he had to reside in the home for at least a year. But that is beneficial to him in his situation. Living in the home for at least a year. If you're a college student or someone who doesn't have any real necessity to have it be your primary residence, do it in whichever way is going to work best for you. Purchase that investment property as your first home. Let the income come in from that, and you'll be able to use that to purchase the home that you really want when you're ready to have a home. As for your family or for whatever, however you want to use that later on. Everything is situational. It goes by every individual circumstances, what they're hoping to get out of the situation, and seeing what exactly their goals are. Some people don't want to buy homes for their primary residence. They only want to make money off of them. They want to flip houses. They want to do those type of things. You can do that too. You just have different criteria versus someone who's using this as a primary residence. You're going to be paying more taxes because you're using it essentially to bring in income. So a person who's using it as their primary residence, we need a break. We're going to get that cut. But if you're not in it for that, or you don't have that circumstance, then it's not a problem. So overall, what I'm trying to say is there are so many things you can Google or hear by word of mouth that it can be incorrect. The only way that you're going to know what is best for your situation and what is going to either prevent you from buying or hold up your time frame from you buying is getting with an agent like myself, and then we get you with the right lender for your situation and your circumstances, and we'll get you exactly what you're looking for. A lot of these myths that you're Googling or finding or talking with other people about, they can get in your head and confuse you. So it is my job to educate you. Speaking of education, what I'm going to be doing next week, is a home buying seminar. These are the type of things that we're going to be discussing so that you are fully informed before you run off on a tangent believing what someone else has told you. You're going to get all your insights on the process of buying a home, what you need to do to prepare to purchase a home, and then any questions that fit your unique situation, we'll be able to go over them and discuss. There will be a lender there so that you can ask those questions to them, because I am not a lender. I'm not going to go over all of those financial aspects because that is not my lane. I will stay in my lane. However, the educational purposes of it all is exactly what we're needing. So if that person is you, if you fit that criteria, you're looking to buy, maybe not even now, but in the future, this is where you need to be. Come to this home buying seminar next week, the 13th of October. It's going to be 1 hour long. May go over a little bit if your questions, go over. But you want to be there. Start this process with me today. Okay? So again, wrapping up everything, there are lots of myths that are out there to prevent you from buying, and we're here to go ahead and cancel all of those things out. Come to my home buyer seminar next week on the 13th, and I got you covered. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you follow me on social media, on TikTok and Facebook at The Agent Key. I'll list that here in the video so that you get the spelling correctly. And again, thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions on the home buying seminar, any videos you've seen, or if you have just any real estate needs, whether you're here in South Carolina or anywhere, give us a call, 803-467-9354. Thank you, and have a good day.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until they do. Look for episodes every Tuesday where the Newton Group discusses home buyer and seller money-saving tips and ideas, along with the Midlands area real estate market conditions. If you would like to reach out to them, they can be reached online and on land. at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.